everybody, and welcome to yet another happy hour, virtually, of course, in which myself, Phil Clark, the Brit from the Brit and Yankee Craft Beer Podcast, get together with a couple of my buddies, Mr. Jay Rizicki and Mr. Ken McMullen, and have a guest brewer on. And today, below me, Ken is drinking the beer. Oh, I'm not supposed to say where they are. Somebody said, you don't have to tell us where they are. We know Ken and Jay. All right, well, figure it out for yourself, you bastards. So anyway, Ken, what are you drinking today?
I've got Stolp Island from Hopvine, of course.
All right, that's an amber ale, right?
No, it's a hazy.
Oh, it's a hazy. Oh, wow, goodness. Ah, dear. Jay, what have you got?
I have got Hubbard's Cave French toast, drinking out of my vintage old style glass.
Nice.
Excellent. What a good man you are. And of course, let us introduce our special guest live from his daughter's bedroom, which is he had to stay at home with his family. He's enjoying quality time. And it is Urban Renewal's James Moriarty. Welcome, James. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well.
So what kind of beer are you drinking?
I'm running dry today. This is terrible, but
well, you are with your daughters, right? You've only got one child?
No, I got 2 girls and a boy.
Ah, right. Okay, cool. I don't know much about Urban Renewal. And Jay, you were the one who said we need to get James on. What's your experience with Urban Renewal, Jay?
So I met James, I think it might have been the first time when I was there with Milk Money with Eric and Matt. But I've had your beer before, and your location, there's 4 or 5 other breweries real close there. It's an awesome part of Chicago to be in if you're a beer person. It's one of those I don't want to say destination, but close to a destination because there's so many breweries that are rather close. And you guys have a unique, in my opinion, a little bit of a more unique, I don't know if I want to call it a philosophy or a way of doing beer. It's just pretty cool. And I said, you know what, let's get James on here because I enjoy his beer.
Yeah, thanks. We're part of Malt Row in Ravenswood. Yeah, so within a 1.5-mile stretch along Ravenswood, we got everyone from down south at Beguile, Dovetail. We got Band Bohemia, us, Empirical right across the tracks. But we've been brewing in Metropolitan's old facility for 2.5 years now. Model. It's a little tough without a tap room these days, but we're working on that. We had plans of opening a second brewery with a tap room this spring, but
you had build out going on there and stuff, and you put that all on hold or what?
Yeah, so we're taking over Andersonville Brewing's location on Clark Street.
Oh yeah,
and so it was more or less another turnkey facility. We were just kind of throwing in a little 2-barrel system to brew on site, but mainly it was just going to be our tap room. And we're working with the city to hash out our zoning issues. So we needed a special use permit in order to get our liquor license. Wow, that's been quite a process with the city. And unfortunately, we were right in the middle of everything when, pretty much the world shut down on us. So the city put our agenda on hold. We kind of got to restart the whole process as soon as they're able to hold zoning meetings.
What's the story behind the name of Urban Renewal? Like, how did you guys come up with that?
So our corporate name is Wicked River, and we went to trademark that name, and well, it turns out there's a distillery that's using it on a label, and being that it's within the same industry, our attorney just advised us to steer clear. And we just had to go back to the drawing board of finding a name, and with 8,000 breweries in the U.S. right now, it's kind of every name is conflicted in some way, whether it's a beer name or another brewery. And
Yeah, we went through that a little bit with Milk Money. We did a search on other companies, and there was a distribution company called Milk Money and a restaurant in somewhere in California called Milk Money. Long story short, we talked to our attorneys, blah blah blah, and they said no, we should be good because even this restaurant that's in California, it's a restaurant, not a brewery. So hopefully we're good. If not, we might have to change things up. But
no, we just came up with the idea that we're in a urban setting, and we're rebuilding the metropolitan old location, kind of revitalizing it. So we just combined the two, and we got our name.
Hey, so what's the type of styles that you guys are focusing on? I did see a nice classic Doppelbock on your website, which is good to see. Do you go towards one or the other, classics or new styles?
Kind of like to kind of pepper it, all over the place. I'm a big fan of IPAs. I like all IPAs. Not quite into the milkshakes, but so I make sure that we always have, at least one or two IPAs available. But beyond that, it's kind of like free reign on what we want to brew. So definitely season is taken into account, trends to some extent, and but really just want to create like balanced drinkable beers that it has mass appeal versus just focusing on a niche. So just kind of make beers that are approachable. Basically my whole career has been brewing classic styles. We're getting to the point where every brewery is putting out like 10 plus hazy IPAs, and it's like, well, how much variety is there truly between one hazy to another?
anytime I go to a brewery, the first beer I always have is a traditional one, whether it's a standard lager or a Scottish ale or a Belgian, something with nothing in it, just the standard beer, and that's how I gauge whether or not I think that brewery is going to be good or not.
Yeah, for me, it's if the brewery has a Vienna lager, that's my first beer every time.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet. I do have a Zwickel in the tank right now. Actually, it just started lagering that yesterday.
Well, I actually do have a Vienna lager that I'm drinking. I don't know whether or not I said what it was, but it's Hoodie Weather from Forbidden Root out of Madison, Wisconsin. That's an oak-aged Vienna lager, and has fast become one of my favorites because of its lovely oaky flavor without being barrel aged. It's just straight up a good beer.
What brewery?
This is Hoodie Weather from Forbidden Root.
That's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Brew pub in
Well,
Chicago.
it says Madison, Wisconsin on the bloody can. So you tell me what's going on there.
They must have contract brewed it up there.
Oh,
I'll tell you.
Yeah, and they just opened their Columbus, Ohio location too, I believe.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe they have a second location up there. I don't know. Hard to keep up with all the beer movements, at least before COVID.
We'll go back and redo that. Okay, so I'm drinking Forbidden Root, which is out of Chicago. Hoodie, there we go. I was going to say, Ken, you wearing a Rush T-shirt there, right?
I just said it's from their last show in Chicago.
Oh, right. Okay. So we usually, at the end of our shows, ask our brewer friends to show us their beer fridge. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a beer fridge here. So when he gets back to the brewery, you can take a picture of your beer fridge and send it to us.
Yeah.
For sure.
I have another question for James, though. Where'd you brew at before this?
So I've been commercially brewing since 2006, and I've worked for 9 different breweries. mostly on the East Coast. So Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Virginia, and Florida. And then I kind of took a 3-year hiatus from being a production brewer and worked for an equipment supplier out in Lincoln, Nebraska. Kind of worked as a in-house brewery consultant / equipment engineer. So I was an installer, and that was a great experience. I mean, it kind of rounded me out as a brewery owner, because there's really nothing in a brewery that can fail, that I wouldn't know my way around it. A, be able to identify what failed, and B, how to fix it. Mm-hmm. So I think that was an invaluable experience. But as far as the breweries, so my first 2 breweries are no longer with us. I started at Concord Brewing in Lowell, Massachusetts. I quickly became the only employee and then helped close the brewery. So that was a terrible start to a career.
I've done that a couple times. It's not fun.
No. And then moved to Milford, New Hampshire, to work for Pennachuck Brewing. I was with them for 2.5 years. They ended up closing as well. I moved out to Cape Cod Beer. I was with them for 3 years, just as a shift brewer, and then got presented an opportunity to help start up a brewery in New Hampshire, Henniker Brewing. They're still kicking. My old assistant brewer in New Hampshire, he decided to open his own brewery in Jacksonville, Florida, and asked me to come on down and help him open his place. Packed up the family and moved down to Florida.
You've mentioned about Florida down there. I think what a good way to end today is to get a beautiful blue sky picture from the man who is down in Florida, Jay. He remarked, "Wow, that's a beautiful picture there," as he looked out. Wow, look at that, man. Now, wouldn't you like to be down there, James?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, he's in a tank top.
Yeah.
Rhinelander,
Wisconsin.
Yeah, look at
that. It's not my brewery shirt from them, but I go to the brewery there every time I'm up there.
So it sounds as if you've had a really rich career, James, and now we're fortunate enough here in the Chicagoland area to be the benefactor of your beer.
Yeah.
If you go down there, Jay, make sure that you save some for me, because you know what I'm like about going into the city.
Yeah.
Where do people get your beer, James?
So we actually have a pretty decent map on our website, where everyone can see where our retailers, our bars, restaurants. But we're in every Benny's location, and then we're in a lot of the independent bottle shops.
So they got to call their local liquor store or local minis and order it from them.
Yeah, we do have a bottle shop at the brewery, so we can sell beer to go.
So you are still selling stuff at the bottle shop. People can come there.
Yeah, and actually that's what's keeping us afloat.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good there.
That is good to hear. And are you doing curbside?
Yeah, we're doing curbside and home delivery.
Excellent. I've opened a second beer whilst you've been chatting.
Yeah.
I got a Founders Centennial, and he's finished his. So, James, we know you don't have a beer glass, but we want to thank you very much for coming on the show. And it's cheers from me.
Cheers from me.
Cheers from me.
And cheers, James.
Cheers, guys.
Take it easy, man. It's Urban Renewal.
Yes. Thanks for having me.